Individuals' finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Whether you're looking for a place to stay for a concert at PBA, a Nebraska home game, or just a night on the town, the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket is the place for you. Enjoy an evening at one of many restaurants or bars within a short walking distance. Business travelers at the hotel will enjoy free high-speed internet access, a 24-hour business center, and large in-room workstations. And check out the bistro, where you'll enjoy healthier food and beverage options, as well as high-tech conveniences. Book your room today at the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving. Go cardio crazy in our clean and spacious clubs, or get down with some dumbbells and strength equipment. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month. It's glow time. See Club for details.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in Lincoln. From broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better, pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
Get all of your favorite restaurants delivered with VenueDelivered.com. One place for ordering delicious appetizers, refreshing salads, hot entrees, fresh sandwiches, and more. From Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, and all Lincoln Good Sense Subs locations. Download our phone app to earn rewards on all of your carryout and delivery orders. Available on Apple and Android, just search for the Pillar Restaurants app. That's the Pillar Restaurants app. Download today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
A warm Friday on the way here, at least by October standards. We'll top out near 83. Winds out of the west-northwest at around 15. Plenty of sunshine. Overnight, a weak cold front will move through. We'll see a low down to around 50. It will be cooler tomorrow, but extremely pleasant for your Saturday. We'll top out near 70. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball.
You about to come on the show, boo.
Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome to it. A happy Friday to you. We have made it just about to the end of another work week. Hope you are tuned in on a long lunch. Hope you hit the road a little bit early. Get yourself prepared for Nebraska-Northwestern in just about 24 hours, almost exactly from now. We'll have kickoff between the Huskers and the Wildcats. I'm Austin Norman inside the 93.7 The Ticket studios here in Lincoln. My dedicated partner on the other end, world traveler, Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet, also rocking the blue looking fresh, looking clean, Eric Strickland. What's good, Stricky? How you doing?
It is good. It is good. It is a beautiful day to be alive. It is Friday. We are on the block. And once again, the picks are in. And it's good to know that me and my partner, we partnered up, and hopefully we'll get a super lock victory this time.
We are planning on it. We are pulling for Penn State. We'll talk about the other game that got super locked with the happy hour crew in just a sec. But we got to thank Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul for what they do in sponsoring our show. They're down at 29th and Pine Lake here in Lincoln. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Everything on the menu is great. They brought it in for our grand opening. Charles was here slicing and dicing and chopping it up with us. Really appreciate him and all the work everyone does down there at Mary Ellen's. Short first segment here, Strick, since we went a little long with our picks, which is fine. It's always fun to do that with the guys. You and I both locked Penn State, Ohio State. Nick and Rico both super locked Nebraska as 11.5-point favorites over Northwestern. You and I did both pick Nebraska to cover, though. So on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being least confident, 5 being most confident, what's your confidence level in Nebraska covering that 11.5-point spread against Northwestern tomorrow?
My issue with that is I would normally feel good about it, but for some reason, it's just one of those things. There are some teams out there that just happen to have your number, right? Mm-hmm. And, say what you will, mistakes, fumbles, just dumb decisions, all of this stuff that has happened over the last times that we played Northwestern. It's good now that they're not necessarily on a neutral field. They're actually at home. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling confident that they could do it. I think the defense will give us what we need. I just want to see them. I really want to see an aggressive, physical style of play out of Nebraska, and just don't make it complicated. Don't try to overcomplicate the game. Get in between the tackles, run your options, your play actions, and just keep it simple for Harburg and those guys, and see what the new guys can do. Put them in positions to be able to, get into some drags, some jets, just some opportunities to run some crossers, maybe on a man-to-man look, because you're going to probably see a lot of man out of Northwestern. Because if I'm Northwestern, I'm telling you, beat me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to dare you. I'm going to fill the box up. I'm going to dare you to beat me, and just see if Harburg can do it. So getting guys on crossers, using that speed that a lot of those young guys like Jaden has, and as well as I don't know if
Jalen and Malachi.
Definitely Malachi. Yeah, let those guys get into some opportunities on some crossers, get them the ball, lead them, and let them run.
I'm with it. I'm about 3.5 confidence level out of 5 for Nebraska covering against Northwestern. And Northwestern can cause some problems. I mean, their comeback against Minnesota was by far their best quarter of the year. Ben Bryant really slung it around. He's a game time decision. We don't know if it'll be him or Brendan Sullivan starting at quarterback. Bryant much more the passer, Sullivan more of a dual threat type of guy. But Nebraska's handled quarterback run pretty well all year. They haven't had to face a lot of it. They've shut it down, I think, for the most part when they have. The pocket passer would scare me a little bit more just because Nebraska's been beat by some of those, short, quick passing games that we haven't seen them be able to disrupt. But even the defense for Northwestern, they held Penn State to, I think, 134 rushing yards was all. It took Penn State's defense making some big plays early in the second half to open that game up. So Northwestern, it wouldn't shock me if they hang in it at the half. And then I think there's just a little bit too much Nebraska. They're deeper. I do think they do hit a big play or two down the field. You want a freshman, I think, Strick, to have a moment like that coming out of a bye week. They've had 6 weeks and, now a week off from a game to prepare for this moment. It seems like they're healthy. They should know the playbook at this point in the year. Now, I don't care which of those 3 receivers it is. It's time for one of them, if not 2 of them, to have their number called, step up, and make a play.
I have to agree with you. That's one of the things that Matt Rule spoke about. He spoke about the fact that comparing his wide receiver group, which is very young, to anybody in the country, he basically is stating that, it's something that's very hard to get. He believes that they're ready to go. He knows this, he said, in confidence. Even though they may be young, it's still, to him, one of the fastest groups in the country when you've got guys running 10 threes, 10 fours, that he believes that they're able to make plays. He's looking at Alex Bullock and making a few plays Ty Hahn making a few plays. He also thinks that Malachi and those who have also made a few plays, Billy Kemp, he believes is a baller. I think at this point, what you got to look at this Nebraska team, and you got to say, okay, they've made a few plays. We need a compounding game of more plays than not. You're seeing that out of some young receivers all across the country. And if Nebraska can find a couple of those guys, then I think they'll be better off.
I'm with you on that. Aaron on the text line. We'll get to your question. That'll be what we lead off next segment with as we dive a little bit more into this Nebraska-Northwestern matchup. What should they show improvement in with 2 weeks to rest and practice? What should Nebraska football show? What are you looking for after 2 weeks to prepare for Northwestern and really this last 6 games of the season, the defining stretch of this year one for Matt Rule and company? He's Eric Strickland. I'm Austin Norman. This is On the Block on 93.7 The Ticket. We got more On the Block talking Nebraska-Northwestern here in just a sec.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving. Go cardio crazy in our clean and spacious clubs, or get down with some dumbbells and strength equipment. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month. It's glow time. See Club for details.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Discovery Days will give you the opportunity to experience SCC firsthand this fall. Discovery Days provide information about SCC's programs of study, how to pay for college, SCC support services, housing, activities, and more. A campus tour and lunch are provided. See your options at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
It's football season in Nebraska, and that means coaches are busy making game plans. I'm Eric Hagan with Liberty Law Group. Teams make game plans because no two opponents are the same. At Liberty Law, we understand no two cases are the same. Whether facing a DUI, criminal charge, or you were injured and it wasn't your fault, we tailor our legal game plan to meet your unique needs. Liberty Law's relentless trial attorneys serve all of Nebraska. To learn more, visit libertylawnebraska.com. That's libertylawnebraska.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through October 24th are pre-packaged pecana for just $7.99 per pound. And don't forget to check out their Friday feast this week and every week. Plus, don't forget their 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in Lincoln. From broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better, pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back on the block. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you. We go to the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. Aaron had a question for us, and I'll throw it to you first, Strick. What does Nebraska football need to show improvement in with 2 weeks to rest and practice?
Oh, I would say definitely the line. The line play is one of the areas. Again, continuing to make sure hats are on hats. Here's why. You have to do that when your running game is basically the most reliable part of your game. You have to make sure hats are going to be on hats. If there's an advantage, you have to make sure you're putting more hats on guys, and therefore you can't pull to air. You know what I mean? You have to pull, get upfield, get into the second level to the linebackers or whatever, right? So I would say the line, making sure they're getting hats on guys so that the running game can be effective. Then I still would love to see the tight end room continue to progress. Continued just finding accuracy out of Harburg, because when you get the opportunity, you have to hit the opportunity. You can't miss. So those are areas that I would like to see. And then just continuously finding a way to create turnovers. So that means doing study, film, figuring out their route patterns, their formations, 2 route patterns, talking about getting in there, getting hands in, stripping. So just different things that can enhance and make the defense, make the overall team be effective so that they can win games as we continue to hit this stretch.
I'll touch on the turnovers first, because that would be absolutely huge. This is an offense that, who is Nebraska to say it's a bad offense or a struggling offense, because Nebraska has one of its own. But that's the way you keep an offense down, is keep the ball out of its hands, is turn it over, make it feel dejected. Nebraska hasn't forced nearly enough turnovers in, years. Honestly, it just hasn't. But doing it against Northwestern, I think, Strick, will have to be calculated, right? Those calculated risks. When you've put the work in with your film, your technique, you're in the right place at the right time, and someone has your back. You can't take a gamble if you don't have safety help over the top, or if you don't have, a linebacker backing you up and contain. Calculated aggression. Find those moments and go get the ball. Because if your offense is going to struggle, if Northwestern's going to stop the run, which is what Nebraska does best, still over 200 yards a game for the Huskers offensively on the ground, if Northwestern's going to sell out to stop that, you need to give yourself a short field at some point. We talk about it all the time with Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin back in the day, even Illinois. They give themselves so many short fields. So even if their offensive numbers aren't that great, they're pretty efficient. So I think turnovers is huge. I think the running game with the offensive line, absolutely. You would hope you can clean up, a lot of the false starts and the, missteps, miscues that way. Plain and simple, don't whiff. How many times this year has a lineman just whiffed? And if you're not going to be even assignment sound, that can give Northwestern just that little gap it needs to, knife between a couple blockers, make a tackle. Oh, you're in 2nd and long. You think you have to pass, incomplete pass. You're in 3rd and long behind the sticks. You don't trust your passing game. Here's a punt. You didn't go anywhere. Now the pressure's on your defense again. So to me, the run game, especially on first and second down, is key to give Nebraska manageable third downs.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, let's be honest now. This team is not just a pushover. I mean, I know there's a lot of things that we would love to say about Northwestern, and we've said them in the past, but they're not necessarily a pushover, right? They're gaining 306 yards. I mean, obviously their passing numbers, stink, and their rushing numbers are just barely over 100 yards. But good gosh, our passing numbers are terrible, right? 140 yards a game. I mean, that's got to be in the bottom tier of all of college football, So on the defensive side of things, we're bend but don't break, but we're giving up about 247. What's saving us is the run game. But listen, they're only giving up 187 yards, and they played some tremendously good passing teams. Yeah, Duke, Penn State's pretty solid. They were in there had it not been for their defense. And then their rushing numbers are a little bit high, but let's be real about it. If they stack to push the rushing numbers down and your passing numbers are still solid, you're going to have to hit. But that's Nebraska's weakest point. This is why the game plan is definitely going to be somewhere in that vein. It's going to be stack and pack, take your chance. You're going to have to drop one on us. I mean, if we're going to lose, we're going out like that. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to let you get 200-plus yards. Now, if Nebraska does that anyway, they're in good shape. I mean, that's going to be good for them because that shows that, regardless of the stacking and packing, you're putting hats on helmets on guys, and you're taking advantage of it, and you're hitting holes. So that's I think it's a winning recipe.
I watched a game similar to that Northwestern game plan last Sunday. That was Jacksonville and Indianapolis. Jacksonville had 7-8 guys in the box every play because they didn't think Gardner Minshew could beat them. They trusted their corners outside with Downs and Pittman Jr. I think you're onto something. That's what Northwestern's going to do. And that, to me, Strick, is where I said calculated aggression on defense, but I think it applies on offense too. Commit to running the ball. By the end of the game, you should have an advantage against a team that still gives up, 170 yards a game on the ground in Northwestern. You can find an advantage, but don't be afraid to take that play action shot. If you get to second and, 2, 3, 4, I know a lot of people will say, oh, run the ball, it's working, don't go away from it. But this is where you have to give some of that confidence to your quarterback. Say, hey, I can throw the ball downfield. Here's a moment to do it. Give some confidence to your receivers. Hey, we trust you to outrun the guy in front of you. Go make a play. There are going to be moments in this game that Nebraska will run the ball effectively, and that's not an excuse to go away from it and say, oh, let's try the passing game since we think we can run it will. But if Northwestern's going to sell out to stop the run, Marcus Satterfield, I think, is going to have the opportunity to call up a couple really well-timed deep shots. We'll see if he takes them.
Yeah, and I think there's going to probably be some max protect calls at times. But here, if you're going to go max protect with Nebraska to just try to make sure guys are not running free, you want to move Harburg. And what I mean by that is get him on some roll actions with max protect. If your guys can't break open or your speed guys can't blow the top off of a guy, which I think you probably could, then it gives him an option to still run the ball. Right? So you get him out there, you get him a little more space, but you get him out of the pocket, and then give him a deep shot option with a potential run option, which then you can kind of still use what Harburg does well, but still give you a chance to take those shots at times outside of the play action.
Absolutely. We'll switch gears here to end the segment off. We have Notorious B.I.B. here on the text line. Do you guys think the volleyball match against Wisconsin on Saturday could have sold out PBA and generated more money if it was played there? Yeah, it probably would have. It probably could have. But I also think we don't want to get into a habit of moving all the big games out of what's already the best environment in college volleyball. Like, yes, it's one thing to go play in a bigger arena and it's cool and you can make it, but the Bob Devaney Center is home for Nebraska volleyball. They've made it the best home court advantage in college sports. And to me, there's no reason to move it out of the Devaney. Get 8,900 people rocking and rolling all game long. Like, yeah, 14,500 would be louder, maybe, but it's also not quite as intimate. It's not quite as on top of you. And it's just one other variable that you don't have to worry about. Just play at home. You know you have a great home court advantage there. Make a special memory in the home of Nebraska volleyball.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. The advantage is there for a specific reason. That would be like Duke saying, let's move out of Cameron Indoor and just go to this bigger venue. Just cut. No, it's there for a reason. Same thing with Oklahoma State. At times down at Moab Gallagher Arena. You know what I mean? That's to them is an advantage. Keep the advantage. Don't start trying to spread around. They're comfortable. They know. They're familiar, and it's home to them. So let them remain in their home.
Amen. Just for reference, I am wearing the Duke gear today because it's Countdown to Craziness. That's Duke's version of, Midnight Madness or opening night with the Huskers. And your number 1 overall prospect in the 2024 class, Cooper Flagg, is in town for his final official visit. So I'm sending good vibes to my Blue Devils. That's why I'm wearing the Duke blue today, my quarter zip and my shoes. But tomorrow I will be decked out in Husker red, 93.7, the ticket pullover most likely. So don't worry. I still know where my allegiances are. Talking with Eric Strickland. He's on the road. I'm Moss Norman back here in the studio. We'll take a quick break, wrap up hour 1 of On the Block in just a sec.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Whether you're looking for a place to stay for a concert at PBA, a Nebraska home game, or just a night on the town, the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket is the place for you. Enjoy an evening at one of many restaurants or bars within a short walking distance. Business travelers at the hotel will enjoy free high-speed internet access, a 24-hour business center, and large in-room workstations. And check out the bistro, where you'll enjoy healthier food and beverage options, as well as high-tech conveniences. Book your room today at the Courtyard Lincoln Downtown Haymarket.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Tired of the ugly signs, extra expense, and costly damage from hard water? It's time to call the plumbers at Bryant for a water softener solution. Hi folks, Greg Shop here, the voice of the Huskers. At Bryant, you get high-quality water softener products installed by plumbers you can trust, and no arm-twisting contracts that tie you down. Just one call, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com to schedule a free softener installation estimate. Come on, soften up with Bryant. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Get all of your favorite restaurants delivered with VenueDelivered.com. One place for ordering delicious appetizers, refreshing salads, hot entrees, fresh sandwiches, and more. From Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, and all Lincoln Good Sense Subs locations. Download our phone app to earn rewards on all of your carryout and delivery orders. Available on Apple and Android, just search for the Pillar Restaurants app. That's the Pillar Restaurants app. Download today.
So what's this new concept happening at 1040 O Street? There's 93.7 The Ticket, there's The Mill Coffee and Tea, and there's Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery? Well, yeah, it's all of those things. It's a place for the community to hang out, grab a drink and a bite, and just chill, or work, or meet, or chat, or whatever you want to do. 93.7 The Ticket, The Mill Coffee and Tea, Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery, all together at 1040 O Street.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Putting a bow on hour one of On the Block. Stepping away from college football for just a sec. We'll hit it again in hour number two. If you have any thoughts on Nebraska-Northwestern, let us know. 402-464-5685. That's the Starter Heyman text line. Also, the Honda of Lincoln hotline if you want to give us a call. Or you can comment if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. Out of the NBA, Strick, some news today out of the Bay Area. Andre Iguodala officially announces his retirement. What does that mean for the Golden State Warriors?
I mean, you lose a piece of what was a building block to a dynasty, and it's never easy to do that, right? But then you've got to understand on Iggy's side of things that there's a time, as he expressed in announcing the retirement, he just expressed that applying that time, now having a son that's 16-year-old, 2 daughters, wanting to watch them kind of go through this maturity phase of their life, and then wanting to give your best and your all to the organization to help them to win championships. It's a lot. It becomes a lot. I actually knew when it was time for me to retire. I just didn't feel it. I'm being a gym rat and wanting to be in there and put in all the time to work and the effort to be able to get yourself, your mind, and your body right. It can get very draining for you, especially after playing now almost 2 decades, right? Mm-hmm. So Iggy's just at that point, man, in his life where he just sees other things as becoming more important. But he's done some great things. He's got great numbers. He made the All-Star team. But I think one of the best moves that he made was in 2013 when he turned down a 5-year contract at that time with the Nuggets in order to join the Warriors, taking a little cut, going in a sign and trade for $48 million for 4 years, turning that into championships in which they won in 2015, 17, 18, and 22. Mm-hmm. And then going to Miami where he played his last 2 years, and then coming back with the Warriors where he played 8 games. It's just one of those things where you just, you know that the time is the time, and we wish him well as he moves on. Definitely, he's going to have other things to do. He's very well spoken. Mm-hmm. He probably will go into the booth somewhere and do some things with TV or radio.
Tip your cap to him, and I want to touch on that Nuggets versus Warriors offer. Where's he going to go? If he goes back to Denver and he stays there, I think we think of Andre Iguodala as, hey, nice career, solid player. He'll be forgotten about in 10 years. I think Andre Iguodala made an absolute power move for his legacy by going and being that kind of swing starter and being the linchpin to that super versatile switch everything lineup that propelled Golden State to those first couple championships. Because now the way he's talked about it, putting himself aside, the mentoring he did for Steph and Clay, kind of being a Draymond whisperer at sometimes, even Jordan Poole to some degree. It kind of feels like he was babysitting Jordan Poole quite a bit over the last year, trying to give him some of that knowledge and that wisdom. He could have stuck around and done the Udonis Haslem thing, I'm sure, for as long as he wanted in Golden State. That's how highly they think of him. But as much as he could have done that, kept collecting the paychecks, there's something to be said for, like you're saying, knowing the time has come, being comfortable in what your legacy is, and saying, hey, I did my job, let's pass the torch.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a true testament to a warrior and a man that you know where you stand. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you're not going to move off of that. You know exactly where you are, you know who you are, and you're going to stand on that. And so we could definitely tip our hat to that.
Hall of Famer? Not a Hall of Famer. Where are you at with it?
Ah, man.
Borderline?
It's so hard to say these days. I mean, I think if you're going to do that, you're going to start looking at, is Robert Horry a Hall of Famer?
Sure.
Right? I would say no, but I still think Robert Horry had a major impact, and rightfully so. I just don't think he did it to the level of like a Dennis Rodman, or to the level of like when you look at like the Detroit Pistons or Ben Wallace, just the impacts that they made to the legacy of those teams. Big shots, big game guys, but at the same time, I mean, then you would have to look at, if you're gonna look at Iggy, then you're gonna have to look at, like I said, Robert Horry, or maybe even Sean Elliott. Very similar types, guys, careers, and so forth and so on.
Fair enough. Good NBA insight from the former NBA player himself, Eric Strickland. We'll step aside. We'll get back to college football. Interesting weekend in college football. Plenty of games to talk about, both in the Big Ten and outside the Big Ten. We'll hit the Big Ten, SEC, maybe some Big 12, definitely the Pac-12, a couple interesting games, and talk a little ACC at the end of the segment before we get some more insight from our guy, Andrew Alex, coming up about 3:30. He's Strick. I'm Austin. This is On the Block. Stick with us. Full college football hour from 3 to 4 coming your way here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years. And I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Sartor Heyman Jewelers 118th anniversary sale is going on right now. This sale only comes around once a year, so don't miss your chance to save 20% or more on everything diamond. Bridal and engagement rings, bracelets, earrings, and all diamond jewelry, 20% off or more. Our lowest prices of the year, now through October 25th, only at Sartor Heyman's 118th anniversary sale. Lincoln and Grand Island or sartorheyman.com.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627. Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the Ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Bure's Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That it is hour 2 on a Friday. I'm Austin Norman. He's Eric Strickland. We're with you for the next 60 minutes or so here at 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Don't forget our free app for your phone. That's a fantastic way to listen on the go if you're outside of our radio signal and you can't pull up one of the video streams. The app has the audio feed for you right there. Big thanks to Starter Heyman Jewelers for sponsoring not only our text line at 402-464-5685, but those video streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And big thanks to Allo as well. They sponsor our VIP line. We'll talk to Andrew Alex on that here in just a little bit, as well as Channel 951. If you are an Allo cable subscriber, you can pull the show up and watch us and listen to us there. Final big thanks before we get back into the college football to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. They're located down in South Lincoln and right across from the South Point Shopping Center, little strip mall there right near the corner. You can find Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, and you're set. Go get some before the Husker game if you're watching at home. You can watch the game there, but I would recommend diving all the way into Mary Ellen's. If you've been there, try something new. If you haven't been there, try it all. That's my advice for you. Again, 402-464-5685 if you've got any thoughts on anything Nebraska-Northwestern related. But before we get back into that a little bit, Strick, the big game in the Big Ten is a top 10 matchup between East teams. It's Penn State and Ohio State. You and I both ended up super locking Penn State. The Nittany Lions are 5-point underdogs on the road in Columbus. I just haven't been excited by Ohio State. I think injuries have taken some of the luster off. They're not as high flying as they have been. The defense is solid, but, Tuiamololau hasn't been, Chase Young or Bosa level of disrupted. Linebackers are solid. DBs are solid. Definitely not the dumpster fire on defense it's been in years past. I just love Penn State's ability to run the ball. Drew Aller's taken care of the ball. He hasn't put it in harm's way all that much. And that's a top 5 defense by most metrics. That's why I've got Penn State not only covering that big spread, but winning that game. And in my opinion, taking over pole position in the Big Ten East.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. I really thought this was probably the year as you looked at it on their defensive side of things. They definitely upgraded. Their linebacker core is phenomenal. Secondary is solid. But you knew their defensive line was going to be strong, and you just wanted to make sure that Aller was going to be, as you had just stated, just taking care of the ball, doing the right things, making the right plays, and being able to take advantage of some of the weapons that they have there. So I actually like them. I like them to break through this year. Now, I'm going to say that maybe Michigan and what's going on at Michigan now could unearth some things for them. But I thought this was a year for them to compete for it, to break through. And they don't even have to see Michigan this year. So that's something that's been good for them where they normally have to get through that gauntlet of both of them in the same year. And this isn't the year for them. So I think they're going to lay it all on the line and put themselves in the driver's seat, definitely in the Big Ten.
Doing some more reading about this game, Ohio State doesn't give up a lot of big plays defensively. Pretty bend, don't break, which is funny because Penn State doesn't rely on explosive plays. Penn State is essentially the best team in the Big Ten West, is really what it's looking like. They'll run the ball. They're super methodical. Aller, with the big arm, you would think he's turnover prone, but he hasn't really turned it over hardly at all this year. No interceptions. And we're halfway through the season, 12 touchdowns, no picks. Not being asked to throw it a lot. 181 attempts, so about 30 times a game he's throwing it, completing 65% of his passes. Penn State's going to dink and dunk you. They don't have a, Jahan Dotson or a Parker Washington type, even a Pat Freiermuth like they had in the past. They lean on their run game. They get themselves in second and third and manageable. They possess the ball all the way down the field. We know Ohio State can be explosive. We know Marvin Harrison Jr. is a huge key to this game, but that's really all Ohio State has. Their running backs are questionable. Egbuka is questionable. So it's Marvin Harrison Jr. and Cade Stover. I think Stover is going to have a big first half, because if I'm Penn State, I am keying on Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm bracketing him. I might even just straight double him a couple times, because if he gets going and Ohio State gets big plays and doesn't have to drive the whole field against an elite Penn State defense, that I think could be danger.
Yeah, this game is going to be one to watch. It's going to be a very interesting game to watch. It's going to be an exciting game to watch. I'm looking definitely forward to it. But I mean, there's really not much to explain other than the fact that both teams have got to perform. Like, they're going to have to look each other in the eye, and it's going to be who's going to be the dominant team and who's going to want it more. And it's going to come down to who's going to make the less of the mistakes. And I think that's what it's ultimately going to be.
2 years ago, Michigan lost its last Big Ten game on the road at Little Brother. They go there again this weekend. We know there's a lot of turmoil in that state, not just in one program. Michigan under fire this week. Michigan State still trying to sort through everything going on with the Mel Tucker, Brenda Tracy situation. Do you give Michigan State a chance at all in a rivalry game, or is Michigan just too talented despite its own distractions?
Yeah, after that magical year that Tucker had, to where he was able to land the bag, I honestly just have to say that this team has not lived up to the hype. He hasn't lived up to the money that was given to him, I don't think. And I just think the program has kind of been in a free fall ever since. I don't see this changing. I don't see that even being a rivalry is anything that's going to make a difference in this game. I think it's going to be complete domination by Michigan. And if you're Michigan, you want to stop on the roly-poly. You want to stop on the cockroach. You want to stop on the insect so that it doesn't get in the house. You know what I mean? And this is how you want to handle business in this game. And I think that this is going to continue on. It's going to be continuous domination in this game.
I'll give the choice to you here, partner. SEC, Pac-12, or Big 12? Where do you want to go next?
We can go SEC.
The top 20 game of the day, it'll be 2:30 on CBS, is Tennessee and Alabama. Tennessee won a wild game last year, 52-49. I think that was really their rival game last year with that high-flying offense under Josh Heupel. What Hendon Hooker was doing, Jalen Hyatt was lighting things up, including the Crimson Tide out of the slot. It was incredible. I think I've written Alabama off a little too far. Don't get me wrong, they have questions offensively, but the defense is still really good. Borderline elite, maybe not quite the same level of difference maker. Obviously, the offense has to get untracked. But this, I think, is a chance for Alabama to send a statement. Say, we're still here. Don't forget about us. We're still a player in the SEC West. Georgia has questions. And I think Nick Saban, while he would like his team to be dominant, I don't think he hates being written off a little bit, giving him a little chip on his shoulder.
I think he feels, if you're this team, I think you're looking at this as a springboard opportunity, right? This team sits at 6-1. They're just outside of the top 10. They're 4-0 in conference. They're still looking at it in a down Georgia team. And they're looking at this as an opportunity, to get back into the SEC championship game, hopefully be able to win it. And then you put yourself right back. If you're evaluating, you can look at getting yourself right back into the mix. So I think they're using this and looking at this as a springboard opportunity. You can't fumble the ball. Not literally in game, but this is just fumble the opportunity, so to speak. And so I think they're going to come. You're going to get the best of what probably Alabama has to offer in this game.
Do you think last year was the peak for Tennessee under Josh Heupel? Do you think they can get back to that again, or are they going to settle into kind of that Ole Miss range where they'll be 8-4 to 10-2? But they'll always fall short against like Bama, Georgia, and those teams?
I actually think this team is looking at it from a standpoint of we're foundation building. We're building a stronger foundation. It's not going to be brittle. It's not going to be easily broken. And this is why you look at how they're handling the quarterback situation right now. Obviously, at a high 5-star that comes in, and they're just looking to just continuing to stack pieces, create depth, so that it's a long-term opportunity for them. And they're doing it by way of the blueprint that I've shared with you before, where I think you need to go in sometimes, maybe find something in the portal that you can fill some gaps, or maybe add and make a little bit better in one of the rooms that maybe you feel is deficient. But then you want to build that second tier group that's going to stay with you, that's going to learn, that's going to grow, that's going to create that the word I'm looking for is that identity. They're going to create that, and then you're going to be able to build off of that long term. I think Josh is playing a long term vision here, so I would give him a little bit of deference in that.
Other games in the SEC, Mississippi State at Arkansas. You have Ole Miss going close to your hometown. They're playing Auburn on the Plains. You have Army visiting number 19 LSU, and South Carolina at Missouri, who very sneakily is up to number 20 in the country. Missouri 6-1. They handle Kentucky pretty well.
They look good too.
I'm fascinated by them.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Especially in such a big year for Elijah Drinkwitz. This was a hot seat year for him. Really had to prove. I mean, Missouri's had one good year since they joined the SEC. They won it their second year at the SEC East, their second year in it. And it's been, I'd say, up and down, but mostly down. They had the 1 year bowl ban sanctioned by the NCAA. Missouri's got a chance to win 10 games. I don't think many people saw that coming this year.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Say what you will about them. They're putting up almost 450 yards a game. 300 of it is in passing. I honestly think I'm surprised by Brady Cook and the season that he's having. 14 TDs with only 3 INTs, and he's over $2,000 as far as passing, and he's pretty efficient at doing it. I like where this team sits right now. I mean, they're moderate on defense. Their secondary is better than what you would probably expect out of them. And so I think they're a team that can surprise some people. They can compete. When you look at, the games that they were able to win, a big win over K-State, a solid, usually a solid Memphis team. They were able to pull that one out. Coming up short 10-10 to LSU, but like you said, big win over you. But they didn't play bad against LSU, though. So, let's just say that. But this is going to be a great opportunity for them to position themselves, tidy up some loose ends, fill in some areas that they may have, felt like, whether it be at the line or coverages or any of those things, because they've got the big dog. They got to go to the next week. So they've got to use this as an opportunity to get confident and to also get better in areas that maybe they feel they're a little bit weak, because they're going to have to face the big dog, Georgia Bulldogs, that next week, November 4th.
As we talk about Nebraska's young receivers having an opportunity to step up and make an impact, especially, the homegrown ones. We've talked about Malachi Coleman and Jalen Lloyd a little bit. What Luther Burden III is doing at Missouri is just that, a local kid who decides to stay home, the number 1 receiver in the country. He's been a difference maker for Brady Cook. So it can be done. I'm not saying Coleman or Lloyd are at that level, but there are examples of it out there. I want to look at the Pac-12, Strick. We have 4 games out in the West Coast. All of them fascinate me for different reasons. UCLA, Stanford, maybe the most mundane one, but Stanford, after what it did to Colorado last week, UCLA trying to cling on to that top 25 ranking. That's one of the nightcap games. The other nightcap is Arizona State at Washington. Arizona State, I think, was in a very similar boat to the Arizona Cardinals, rebuilding, trying to find its way up. Didn't think there was a lot there. Arizona State's been spicy. They've been competitive in a couple games, at least a little longer than I thought they would have. And Washington's coming off the biggest game of the year. If this game was in Tempe, I might give the Sun Devils a chance, but I hope for Washington's sake, the fact that this game is at home doesn't let them slip up after the win against Oregon.
There it is. That's what we've talked about just in recent days. We've talked about teams that have an emotional win. That was a big emotional win against Oregon, taking them down at home. The way that they did it, had to fight, had to scrap, was not given to them. They had to go get it. But on top of that, now the media has been talking about you. You're starting to smell yourself. You're peeking into the playoff. You're probably in the driver's seat out of the Pac-12, which the Pac-12 has been kind of left on the outside looking in the last few years, because the Big 12 is kind of filled in, and then a non-power 5 group of 5 have also popped in there, left the Pac-12 out. So they're looking strong because they've got multiple teams that can kind of jump into this mix. But at the same time, this is a trap game because what happens is you start smelling yourself, you start feeling good. This team is horrible. We can kind of relax. And this is that attitude that we talked about. If you're really a good team, you go and you drag this team through the ringer and you beat the brakes off of them. You go sit down by the third quarter and relax and get ready for whatever's next on the schedule for you, because this is an opportunity to do that, or you put yourself in a trap game.
We used you brought up the roses and the manure on Tuesday. I highly recommend people go back and listen to that 3:30 segment from Tuesday's show. But you can use Arizona State like manure. Bury that body under the roses, get rid of all evidence, leave no doubt. There's a chance for Washington to do that.
Exactly. I mean, I venture to say you have to do that because you don't even want to show any lackluster, because you want to be able to leave no doubt when it comes to the decisions being made by the committee as to where they're going to put you. You're going to run, you want to get through it, you want to run it, you want to win any games where there's an opportunity to blow the doors off of it, so that you put yourselves in a position when the decisions are being made that your name is called.
Quick shout out to Ellis in Illinois in the text line. Luther Burden lives near the state line, but he is from Illinois. So my bad. Very close on the border of Illinois and Missouri, but he is from Illinois. So my bad. I retract that statement. Still not from very far from Columbia, Missouri. Elsewhere in the Pac-12, we talked a little bit about Utah and USC in the crossover. We won't touch on that game, but two teams, Strick, that are coming off disappointing losses in different ways. Washington State falls out of the rankings after getting smacked around by Arizona, 44-6 final score, and they have to travel to Oregon, who does remain in the top 10, but Oregon looked dead in that game against Washington, came roaring back, and then just couldn't get the one stop it needed. Dan Lanning, aggressive on fourth down. It doesn't work out for the Ducks. These are two teams that I think are still good teams. Washington State, a borderline top 25 team. Oregon still in the top 10. Both teams need a win in the worst way. What a statement it would be for Washington State to go on the road. What a statement it would be for Oregon to turn around and do to Washington State just what Arizona did.
Oregon has to bounce back. I mean, it's imperative. You want New Year's after New Year's bowl games. These are the types of wins that you have to take advantage of. You have to go get them. They're down. They're looking to bounce back. They're going to give you everything they got. Oregon has to play well. The good thing is they're at home. They don't want to show anything to any of the bowls that would want to call upon them to come to them. And this could be one of those games that you could put yourself in a position to have a negative attachment to you, even though you started off as good as you started off. And you don't want that. You don't, especially at home. You want to come in and take care of business. I mean, right now they're favored by 20. I just don't know if that's the case. I'm glad I would have super locked it if they would have put that on there 20. I don't think that Washington State's that bad, but I could be wrong.
No, I'm with you. I mean, they haven't been that bad all year. I think that was just a big letdown game for them. Arizona probably played its best game of the year. Washington State, its worst game. So, yeah, I would be shocked if that ends up a 3-touchdown game as well. We'll save the ACC for Andrew Alex here in just a couple minutes. So let's jump to the Big 12. Not a whole lot going on there, Strick. The headlining game in that conference is probably UCF at Oklahoma, the Dylan Gabriel Bowl. He transfers to Oklahoma from UCF. But I think this is a good chance, Strick, to take a look at those four new additions in UCF, Cincinnati, Houston, and BYU. I don't think anyone expected them to, come in and win the conference in football, especially not in year one. But all of them have just been kind of blah. I don't know if Brett Yormark has any buyer's remorse for getting those teams, because I think especially Houston, maybe Cincinnati again, can be really good in basketball. But not a single one of those teams is making a splash on the conference in year one.
Houston's 1-2 in conference, and Cincinnati and UCF are 0-3. I mean, that just tells you right there what it is. I thought UCF probably had a better opportunity, being that they've been able to recruit well out of Florida. Thought that they would be able to get the talent to compete at the Big 12 level. Could it be coaching? I don't know. I just really thought that having that opportunity to be able to play in the Big 12 would have gave them a little bit of leg up as far as some recruiting advantages, because they've been able to compete at some high levels and win some games against some top quality teams over the years. And so it's very disappointing. And I to me right now, the Big 12 is looking like what the Pac-12 is looking like outside of the top few teams, and that's Texas and Oklahoma.
Kind of Big Ten-ish too, where you have the couple elite teams at the top, a whole bunch of jumbled mess in the middle. I'll say this for UCF. We refer to Bill Connolly's SP Plus a lot on the show, at least I do. And this was one of his games to watch. He says that, it's two very good offenses, one good defense. Oklahoma's defense is much better than it was last year. His SP Plus numbers say UCF has been pretty unlucky, leading to its record looking the way it has. Played a close one against Baylor. Wasn't quite able to finish that one off, if I recall. Oklahoma is favored by 14, according to the SP Plus, favored by 25, according to FPI. So, and the actual line settles in there at 19 or 20 points. I hope we get a shootout, because I think Oklahoma needs to be tested again. I think this would be a good spot for Brent Venables' team to build off the Texas win not long ago and say, hey, we won with a stop at the end with our defense. Now let's go win it with our offense. Prove that Dylan Gabriel is that guy. He deserves some Heisman love. Get the ball to playmakers and say, hey, we're not the Oklahoma of old. Our defense has some bite. Our offense is still doing Oklahoma things. We're here and we're real.
Yeah, they don't want to be lethargic. They don't want to be lethargic in any way, because sometimes the schedule can just kind of put you in cruise mode. And you just don't want to be finding yourself being in cruise mode, especially as you get later and the games get more important. You still got to play championship game, and how that's going to pan out, you just never know. And so you don't ever want to just get in the cruise mode, because that's just a setup for failure.
That it is. We'll turn our eyes out east to the Atlantic Coast Conference. We'll do that with our guy, Andrew Alex of 24/7 Sports. We'll step aside, get Andrew on the horn, talk some ACC football, a couple really good games, Duke, Florida State, Clemson, Miami, maybe get a pulse on North Carolina as well. All that and more with Andrew Alex next on The Block.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
The weather is getting colder, the leaves are falling, and hockey season is back in full effect. Lock in your seats for all 3 Stars games next month for the price of 2 games by purchasing a November package today. You'll get tickets for Military Night on November 4th against Cedar Rapids, the November 17th playoff rematch versus Des Moines, and the Blackout Wednesday game against Tri-City on November 22nd. Don't miss out on 3 great nights at the Icebox. Get your tickets now at LincolnStars.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
When it comes to tackling your fall projects, having the right equipment can make a huge difference. At Sunbelt Rentals, they have an extensive line of tools and equipment to help complete any job. From lawn and landscape equipment to hand tools, pressure washers, portable generators for you tailgaters, and much more. Sunbelt Rentals makes it easy to get what you need when you need it. Drop in to see the experts at 5450 Alvo Road in Lincoln, or visit sunbeltrentals.com today to learn how Sunbelt Rentals can make it happen for you. Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you or a loved one are struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. For October, it's Pork Month. Enjoy all-natural boneless pork shoulder for $1.69 per pound, fresh pork belly for $2.99 per pound, and Fairway's fresh ham loaf mix for $2.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Fall for savings at Bonzall Pool and Spa. Beginning October 13th, customers can take advantage of great cash and financing options on hot spring spas. Get up to $1,000 off a new High Life Collection spa or $500 off a new Limelight Collection spa when you pay in full, or get 0% APR for 60 months when you finance. This amazing offer ends October 23rd. Visit them at 33rd and Pioneers to learn more on how you can fall for savings at Bonzall Pool and Spa.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and Decorators composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance and to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online to deckcityne.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and man, of the October incentives get better. You won't want to miss this. Happening right now at Coppell, you have 0% financing or $6,500 off MSRP on select new half-ton crew cab pickups. Yes, you heard right. Happening right now until the end of the month. 0% financing or $6,500 off sticker price. Those incentives are the best we've seen this entire year. Hurry on in while supplies last. Just take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All offers include trade-in bonus and with approved credit.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Streaming worldwide on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Also on Allo channel 951 for those of you with Allo cable or phone. Allo does sponsor our VIP line. They understand exceptional service with local heart, and we go there now. We welcome in our man in ACC country, Mr. Andrew Alex. Andrew, not a lot of games going on in your neck of the woods this week, but I think there's a lot of interesting games, a lot of interesting matchups to keep eyes on. I'll start with the night game. No ranking with either of these teams. It's Clemson and Miami. For me, this is an inflection point of the season for both of these teams. Is there a team between Clemson and Miami that needs this win worse?
I would say that Miami probably needs the win worse in terms of overall proof of concept, right? Like, if you're Mario Cristobal, you come in and mixed results in year one, that's somewhat to be expected. But ultimately, at the end of the day, in year two, especially in a place like Miami, that's where you're going to want to see the results, right? At least you're going to want to see significant progress. And for a minute here early on the season, especially with a signature win over Texas A&M, it looked like it was heading in that direction. But now you kind of watch as the season's going and you lose to Clemson here. And suddenly there's the impression that, once again at Miami, things are sort of falling apart at the seams midway through the season. And culturally, as a program, that's where they tend to start folding. So I think from a morale perspective at Miami, that's absolutely crucial. Again, I lend Dabo Swinney a little bit more leeway just because of the success that they've had in the past.
Miami hasn't won a game in conference play yet. Clemson sitting right in the middle at 2-2. What do you make of the direction of Clemson? I think we wrote them off after they lost to Duke in week 1, but they're still 4-2. It looks like they're going to make it to a bowl game. Is Clemson just an average 8-4 team? Do they have an outside chance to get to that 10-win mark they've reached under Dabo, every year? Where are you at with Clemson at the midway point of their season?
Yeah, I mean, at the midway point in their season, I see a team that I thought at least was improving significantly on offense, following that Duke game. But, I mean, your first question was hard, right? Because despite everything that I said about Miami, for Clemson, yeah, you lost to Duke, you beat the no-name teams, you handled Syracuse, you hung in there a little bit closer than maybe some fans would have anticipated against a team like Florida State, given where they are this year. But then you play a really bad Wake Forest team close, and that's when you start to wonder if this offense has some fundamental issues that need to be addressed. Things do not get easier for the Clemson Tigers in the second half of the season. They have a rough schedule as the ACC goes. You got Miami here, then you have NC State there a little bit down. Notre Dame, it's going to be an interesting game. Georgia Tech, they should probably win. North Carolina, again, that looks like a toss-up given where Clemson is right now. And then, the Clemson-South Carolina game, a game that I think could go either way. So, given the schedule, yeah, maybe they are an 8-4 team. I think that's what, if you put the odds on all the games, they'd be favored to win about 4 more games. So, maybe, are they better than the average ACC 8-4 team? I'm sure they are. But it's not dominant Clemson that we saw with Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, and all the other NFL names that you could say from that era. It seems like they've taken a bit of a step back, and a lot of that can be blamed on Dabo's lack of embracing of the transfer portal and other new aspects of college football.
Andrew, as you look up and down the ACC right now, there's a lot of teams that are kind of mediocre or down a little bit. Is North Carolina, is it fool's gold? Because their schedule, they haven't really been tested. I think, like you said, the Clemson game is going to give them one. But are they really one to make a shot at Florida State, or is it kind of just fool's gold just based on the schedule right now, and they just happen to be better than the teams that they've played so far?
Well, Strick, that's an interesting question, and it's important to note that they have beaten the teams in front of them. Now, Pitt is kind of a cakewalk this year, and Minnesota's not very good. South Carolina, they're losing some games, but they still got a lot of talent on that roster. But they've won the games that are in front of them. They'll have roughly 2 actual tests on the schedule, and that's versus Duke and at Clemson. Now, how pivotal that is, that Duke game, right? I mean, Duke's a team that's right in the lick of the ACC championship race as well. They've lost their matchup to Florida State, but if they can get Riley Leonard back, there's a chance looking at the schedule for Duke that they could be making a run at the ACC championship. So that's going to be a very big one. Obviously, Clemson's going to be a very big one. How do I feel about them? Well, I've always been very suspect about North Carolina's defense under Mac Brown, even dating back before Mac Brown. Offense has always been the strength of their group. But the defense does look a little bit improved, and it's all going to fall on the shoulders of Drake May and how he can elevate this team. He is a guy who, as I'm sure you guys know and talked about, has a decent chance to be either the number 1 or 2 pick in this year's upcoming NFL draft. He is a talent, and a lot of ACC teams have seen that firsthand. Can the defense hold up, and can May elevate them? because what you'll see with North Carolina is as goes the quarterback, so goes the team. If he plays out of this world, they'll win. If he plays just good, a lot of toss-up games are just that, toss-up games.
I have one more, and I'm gonna let my partner Austin go ahead and start slinging pitches at you, fastballs, so that you can see if you can hit them out of the park. But listen, Florida State right now sits at the number 4 team. Are there games for the rest of their season that could kind of let somebody squeak in and kind of sneak them at the end, or are they just that good that the committee's just if they run the gamut, they run the table, that they'll probably fill the spot and have a chance to get in there, sneak in at 3 or 4?
Yeah, I mean, if Florida State runs the table, they will be in the college football playoff, no doubt about it. One loss, I mean, it really just depends on how they look, and I guess who that loss is to. Let's imagine that loss comes tomorrow against Duke, 7:30 p.m., national television, ABC. If that's your only loss, then you go back and avenge it, and Duke's like a 2-loss team, then, I mean, it would really just depend on things outside of their control. How's the rest of the country stacking up? We know that they're going to give credence to a 2-loss SEC team. We know that both Ohio State and Michigan right now are trending for a possibility where if Ohio State has a loss to Michigan and vice versa. And I think the committee is going to have a hard time putting that team on the outside looking in. So my gut instinct right now is, given the strength of schedule, a 1-loss Florida State would be on the outside looking in. But again, I think that's something that we have to see what happens nationwide before we can, definitively say it. But right now, today, my gut instinct would be no.
One more on Florida State. I feel like since about week 4 or 5, maybe, which again, just a few weeks ago, Florida State was one of the hot tickets in town. They were back, they're here, they've arrived. I feel like the hype's cooled off in Florida State. Are we sleeping on them a little bit, given that they're in that number 4 spot in line for a college football playoff berth? Did the Boston College game, even Clemson hanging with them, expose some cracks that made the ACC go, they're good but not unbeatable? What's your read on just how good this Florida State team is?
My read on just how good this Florida State team is they're a team that could probably hang in there, with a national championship contender. But I don't think that, I would envision them. I wouldn't pick them to go out there and beat Georgia, Ohio State, or Michigan. Now, can you still be in that category and still be in the top 5-6 teams in college football? Yeah, you absolutely can. I mean, you look at the 1-4 matchup with the college football playoff historically, and it's usually a pretty lopsided game, right? So, I don't know if Florida State's all there yet. That being said, you look at the talent they have, on both sides of the ball, especially at the skill positions offensively. And knowing that some of these guys are newer to the program, a lot of transfers on that team, it's the kind of team that you would anticipate, just like we saw last season, they're going to finish the season stronger than they started it off. But, I mean, they also haven't lost since, like, October of last year. So, it's kind of hard to truly doubt them. But I would say, in terms of being in the conversation with Ohio State and Georgia, probably not there yet.
We haven't touched on 2 games in the ACC this weekend. We'll skip over Boston College and Georgia Tech. That's just a bunch of blah, which is why it's at 11 Central, noon Eastern. But the 2:30 Central game, Pitt and Wake Forest, these 2 teams have fallen off. Is it as simple as Slovis, Addison, Abanikanda gone for Pitt, Hartman transfers out, A.T. Perry gone for Wake Forest? Is it something more with coaching, recruiting? How have both those teams fallen back into mediocrity after great years a couple of years ago?
Well, here's what I'll tell you. Both these teams are not teams that recruit very strong historically. They're in the case of Pitt, it's a team where, they're probably recruiting in the, at least nationally speaking, low 30s to high 40s, and Wake Forest is usually like way at the bottom of the barrel. Now, what Wake Forest does well is, they get these under the radar guys, they redshirt almost everyone, unless you're a out of this world talent, which again, Wake Forest is intending to get out of high school. And they do it the old-fashioned way. Like, everyone goes through the program. Their team is juniors and seniors starting. But, yeah, like, when you lose Sam Hartman, like the all-time leading passer in the history of the ACC, you're going to take a step backwards. When you get young on the offensive line, and suddenly, that next crop of prospects that was behind the ones that you had isn't all there, like, yeah, that could happen. So because they're not getting the highest level of talent to start, then, yeah, I mean, it's not incredibly surprising. But they've been a disaster at quarterback. Mitch Griffith just hasn't been good. I was at the game when they played Virginia Tech. They brought in the backup. The backup wasn't very good either. They pulled him and put Griffith back in. So, yeah, quarterback's an issue. And quarterback's also the issue at Pitt. Now, I don't think Pitt's going to be down for long. They have a really strong program over there. They got young real fast. So I wouldn't blame either of the coaches. I think both of the coaches have shown, historically over the course of the last, 5 or so years, that the way that they do things means you can build a sustainable ACC football program that's always going to be in bowl contention. And then sometimes you'll pop off and be good.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, everyone shows chinks in their armor at some point, and this is just one of those down years for both programs. So, no, my stock on either of those coaches hasn't dropped precipitously in any way, shape, or form.
Clausen with his slow mesh RPO has revolutionized things a little bit, at least on the Wake Forest front. But Narduzzi at Pitt and Elko at Duke, which program should be more worried about losing their guy potentially to the Michigan State opening?
That's a great question. I would say you'd probably be more worried about Narduzzi because, number one, you jump ship when you're down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like he knows he has a great roster coming back next season, given what we've seen on the field so far for them this year. But I think that he would be more inclined to take it, whereas I think Elko may be sniffing at an SEC job, potentially even the school that he came from.
Ooh.
I think that if Texas A&M opens up, he's going to be a name at the top of the list. And, I mean, right now, if you take a peek into what's going on at Texas A&M, people are not so happy with Jimbo Fisher right now. When you're compensated like the number one team, you tend to finish anywhere between the low top 25 and unranked, with maybe one exception, that being the weird COVID year. People start to ask questions. And that's what's happening right now at Texas A&M. And, if I was a team that could snatch another Power 5 coach, and I'm doing a coaching search right now, Texas A&M is going to be at the top of the list. So they can pay literally ungodly amounts of money. And, yeah, I mean, if I'm Elko, that seems like a place where you can be good at Duke. But at Texas A&M, you really have the potential to take it into overdrive, and I don't think he'd turn that down. So, yeah, the answer to your question is Narduzzi. That's my side thought.
Okay, so on that A&M train of thought, Jimbo was, the big name, won a national championship. They threw the, back the Brinks truck up for him. Does Texas A&M's identity and how it thinks of itself, even if Elko's good and he has one of their own, would they be able to resist going for another splash hire? Or do you think it would do them some good to go for a, lower key, still good football coach in Elko?
I mean, like, the question is going to be like, well, what is that splash hire, right? Like, who's available? Because, I mean, everyone's got pros and cons. I mean, Jimbo was, he was the hot ticket. He was the guy, and he had done it before. And it's hard to look at a coach like that and say, oh, no, we wouldn't want him, right? But, I mean, it comes down to execution. And that's where, these decisions are really made in, essentially that interview process. Like, how does X big name fit your culture, your program identity, what you're trying to build? Does he have the experience showing that he's done it before? You give pros and cons there, and ultimately it's up to the athletic director to make the decision. So I happen to think that Elko would be a great fit. I don't know what the alternative would be there. So it's hard to answer that question without the alternative being presented. But I think that Elko's as hot a name as anyone. I think that I would put him in the conversation. Like, to see what he is doing at Duke is unbelievable. And it's not like he inherited a great roster. He inherited a quarterback, and that is a big part of the battle. But the rest of it, it comes down to developing the guys that were in the room. And that was a Duke team that was a doormat in David Cutcliffe's final season. He brought them to a bowl in year one. Could even be an ACC championship in year two.
Andrew, we've taken a lot of your time, but I do have to ask you about ACC hoops, just kind of generally. I am, full disclosure, wearing my Duke quarter zip and my Duke shoes with Counting Down to Craziness tonight. I'm looking for my Blue Devils to make a good impression on Cooper Flagg on his last official visit. What's the buzz around ACC hoops? Is it going to be a better year than it has the last few? Are you going to get some actual strong teams at the top of the conference, or is it more of the same where you get some, 3, 4, 5 seed line teams and, hope for a run out of a Miami or someone like that from down the seed line?
Yeah. I mean, right now it seems to be trending more of the same. I mean, I'd have to, I'll admit I haven't done my full evaluation of Georgia Tech's basketball roster.
I don't blame you.
At this point, I'm a little football crazy right now. But, overall, just the way that things are trending, a lot of these teams, the Boston Colleges, the Wake Forests, even the Virginia Techs, you expect them to make a big move in the transfer portal if they're going to take a big step forward and become like, and maybe one of them will surprise you as an NCAA tournament team. But, you could still get 7, 8 teams in there in a best possible case scenario. But, and I'm sure you remember, Austin, even as close as, 2019, like the 18-19 season, that was Virginia Tech's best year that they've ever had as a basketball program. And they were the 5th best team in the conference. They lost to Duke in the Sweet 16. That was a team at the number 5, 6 slot in the ACC, like they were actively competing, that could have, they were a talented enough team to win the national championship. Outside of your Dukes, your North Carolinas, I don't think UVA is going to be back there. But, Louisville being a dumpster fire right now, obviously, takes away one of your perennial teams. Syracuse being on a downturn, again, historically powerful basketball program that just ain't it right now. So I don't see enough progress at those schools to think the ACC is the juggernaut that it's been in year past. So I hope one day we can get back at it in that direction, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be soon.
We'll pick your brain for more ACC hoop stuff moving forward. Definitely some ACC football as we get into conference title races. Andrew, as always, we appreciate the time, man. Talk again soon.
Hey, love talking to you guys. Always good to talk ACC football with the great folks at Nebraska.
Absolutely. There he is, Andrew Alex of 24/7 Sports. Joins us on our Allo VIP line where they understand exceptional service with local heart. We'll step aside, wrap up on the block with the crossover. DP in the building. Jay's still on the road. On the Block comes to a close in just a minute.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. For October, it's Pork Month. Enjoy all-natural boneless pork shoulder for $1.69 per pound, fresh pork belly for $2.99 per pound, and Fairway's fresh ham loaf mix for $2.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
What is Casasa Cash at Liberty First Credit Union? It's more. More earning, more freedom, more rewards. With Casasa Cash, you earn up to 5.5% APY, and your rewards begin instantly from a penny up to $40,000, all without monthly service fees. Plus, Casasa Cash at Liberty First Credit Union gives you more ATMs nationwide. When you want more, you want Casasa Cash. Visit libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Account qualifications apply.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for high-quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers' 118th anniversary sale is going on right now. This sale only comes around once a year, so don't miss your chance to save 20% or more on everything diamond. Bridal and engagement rings, bracelets, earrings, and all diamond jewelry, 20% off or more. Our lowest prices of the year, now through October 25th, only at Sutter Heyman's 118th anniversary sale. Lincoln and Grand Island or SutterHeyman.com.
Husker fans, head coach Amy Williams and your Husker women's basketball team want to see you at Pinnacle Bank Arena this season. Season tickets are on sale now. Reserve your spot to cheer on the Huskers as they take on some of the best teams in the Big Ten and around the country. Opponents include Creighton, Maryland, Indiana, Iowa, and more. To buy tickets, go to huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED. They have a full season of fun set for this year. For promotional information, visit huskers.com.
Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and Decorators composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance and to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671 or go online to deckcityne.com.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
It's not often a man wakes up and says, I feel the best I have in years. We hear this all the time at Limitless Mail, and it can happen to you when you go to Limitless Mail and get a blood test to see what your body is missing. That's how simple it is. Schedule a free consult with Limitless Mail. Discuss your symptoms. Do the blood test. If your lab results say you're low in testosterone, we can fix that. Age is just a number. You can feel your best again. Just ask Limitless Mail.
Are you looking for a night of epic fun without breaking the bank? Look no further than Sun Valley Lanes and Games. Join us for our late night special every Sunday through Thursday night and enjoy nonstop action with our Unlimited Fun promotion. Unlimited Fun includes everything you need for an unforgettable night out. Unlimited bowling, unlimited laser tag, and unlimited lucky putt mini golf. Show a valid college or military ID at check-in and get $2 off your admission. Visit the daily rates page at sunvalleylanes.com for complete details.
Sun Valley.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
A warm Friday on the way here, at least by October standards. We'll top out near 83. Winds out of the west-northwest at around 15. Plenty of sunshine. Overnight, a weak cold front will move through. We'll see a low down to around 50. It will be cooler tomorrow, but extremely pleasant for your Saturday. We'll top out near 70. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Strick had to dip. Appreciate him tapping in from the road. He's got business to handle. We appreciate him tapping in. Good college football day here on the Ticket Talk little NBA as well. We welcome in DP for a little crossover here. DP, the sport we haven't talked about today, MLB. We got series. They're live again. 2-2 in the AL, 2-1 in the NL. Where are you at with? Let's start in the AL. Your Inter-Texas series.
Well, it's the battle of the Golden Boot or some crazy
something like that.
thing like that. I've been a part of that. I was a part of that series for all my time in Houston, and there was no weekend like when the Astros and Rangers played each other. It's amazing. You think in interstate, but they really don't like each other. Like Houston, Dallas don't like each other. Like they just don't.
Not just as teams, but as cities.
Yeah, they don't like each other, and then it becomes feisty because they like to say the Rangers are arrogant. The Astros like to say the Rangers are arrogant. The Rangers like to say the Astros are arrogant. And then in this, it was exposed again. Rangers go up 2-0. They win both games in Houston. And then the arrogance comes out. And the Astros are like, see, told you. This is why. Now, you got to finish the series. The Astros have been here before. They're familiar. They're comfortable in that friction. I don't think it bothers much. I love the fact that the country is getting to see Yordan Alvarez, who is my current favorite player to watch.
He is so good.
Like I saw him when he was a rookie and he came up and we heard the stories. And to watch him evolve, it's always funny to me because I kind of expected at some point that Alex Bregman would be one of the top 10 players in the world. Like I literally expected that. And then he shows flashes again of that thing. And then, of course, there's Mighty Mouse. And Jose Altuve, there's no metric for him producing what he produces as he produces it.
In any sport ever.
Right? Like you don't want to see him. So, and on a 1-to-1, so I had a chance to run his camp. And he is a philosopher about baseball. That he breaks down the minutia better than any. He and Bryce Harper are the two that see things in the game from that side of it. Like if Greg Maddux were everyday players, that he'd be Bryce Harper and Jose Altuve. Like that's how cerebral they are in it.
Yeah.
So it's cool to watch that series. It's just I think the Astros figure out a way. Verlander goes today. He's just a pit bull. He's just a pit bull. Like I love his mental matrix, how he breaks things down. And then the Rangers for the young thing. I mean, here, look, Rangers are an organization of the future.
Yes.
They've got a lot of young guys who are just finding their way. And then if they ever figure out what to do with the pitching staff, but the Rangers have never figured out how to, that's been their thing. Like
trying to go to Cole Hamels was not it.
Right. Like, I mean, you went through, I mean, they had some I mean, how do you mess up Darvish? Like you messed up Darvish, bro. Like, what do you, like you had dudes in the system. So that's a fun series. Phillies and look, man, I don't want to hate on the Diamondbacks.
But what are you doing here, bro?
But I don't care. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, even when I watch them, I don't know what I'm watching. And I'm a baseball dude. And I still can't identify. One, I love what the pitching staff did. If you tell me they're pitching first organization, I'm all in. I'll buy into that. If you tell me that they defend better than anybody else, okay, I'll buy into that. I'm just not sure that I care. Like, they haven't gotten me to become emotionally invested in watching them succeed. This isn't the big unit Schilling, Gonzalez. Like, it's not that Diamondback team.
No.
It's another group. I mean, they're dogs. I'll give them that. But they've shown the ability to collapse in such a high volume after having so much a high level of success. They do a thing that's just mind-blowing. The bad baseball streak that they went on this season is remarkable to even begin to try to understand. I don't think they play poorly. I think they take one more game from the Phillies. I think both series end up going 6. I'm not sure that the Rangers find a way, but if they do, today's the day. In order for them to win it, they've got to beat Verlander today.
Mm-hmm.
The Diamondbacks, even if they win today, I don't see them winning twice in Philly. So there's that. So the series has been exceptional.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
And let me make the point. I have double-digit friends in Arizona, and they have zero expectation for this thing to end well. That's kind of my point. Like the people who are there, they're in radio there. They have season passes to go see the D-backs. They get to go. They were so stunned that, wait, we won?
we beat Milwaukee?
What? Like what?
We beat
What is happening?
Los Angeles?
And then they said the thing that in their lifetimes, and they're younger, but they're like, we don't have this. Like we don't get this. Like you don't get it for college sports. You don't get it. Like you're like the Phoenix Suns tease you, right? This is
always
right. Arizona Cardinals, you get what you get, and they're just sitting back going, okay, can you blame? Like, are you focusing on the Coyotes? Like, what do you like? What are you relying on? So it's not just that it's from a distance. It's that even the people that I know who could draw me in haven't drawn me in.
I think we got Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman on the line. We'll make him wait till old school because I have one more question for you to wrap up on the block here. Bryce Harper.
Yes.
Philosopher of baseball, you just said.
Yes.
I don't want to say I ever rooted against Bryce Harper, but I was definitely team Mike Trout, right? As they were kind of pitted against each other, AL versus NL.
Yeah.
In the last handful of years, maybe since the World Series run for the Nats, and they did it with Soto, but since then, I found a new appreciation for Bryce Harper to handle all that pressure coming out of high school like he did, to go play JUCO as a 16-year-old, have that pressure in that draft, come up really close with Strasburg, being that loaded farm system, to produce essentially from day one. He'll have ups and downs. That 2015 MVP year was insane, but to go to Philly, handle it the way he has, that fan base, I'm impressed with Bryce Harper, and I'm a Bryce Harper fan now.
Okay, so I'm on the other side of this. That as a Nats fan, there was nobody I enjoyed watching play baseball more than Bryce Harper. Defensively, he was a wrecking ball.
Yep.
In the batter's box, he was a one-man show, right? There was nobody in bigger moments who just flashed. And just watching him hit the baseball. Now, I kind of hold some venom from him getting to Philly. And if you're a Nats fan, understand that when the Nats were bad, the Phillies were good. And then the Philly fans would take over Nats Park. So much to the point that the Nats set it up that if you weren't in an area code familiar to Nats, you couldn't buy tickets online.
Nice.
Right? Like they literally
respect.
Like that, right? Like that was the thing. And then the come up was for them to figure out how to get through and win. And then he says, well, I really just wish that I had spent my entire career, that I had started my career in Philadelphia. And I just went, why? Like,
that's just unnecessary.
Like, why would you dig at the people who helped raise you, who took care of you? Because he was a baby in Washington, D.C. And I can tell you, baby athletes in D.C. don't last, and they don't make it. Why? Because the city consumes you. But D.C. protected him, and they rallied around him, and they boundaried for him. They boundaried for him, for this dude. So to say that, and then the fact that, you got Schwarber, who came to D.C. for a cup of coffee and then left, and then, you convinced Trey Turner to also go to Philly? Like, you got three Nats that, hey, bro, wait a minute. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Now, he's still an eclectic volcano of a baseball player. Like, he's just unique. But he's also kind of a jerk, and that's okay. That's okay, because to be that good at baseball, look, if I was Bryce Harper good at baseball, I'd be the biggest you can imagine.
If I was Bryce Harper good at anything.
Yeah, like anything at all, I would be that dude. So I understand what that is. I mean, when the Caps were playing Vegas in the Stanley Cup, he put on a Knights t-shirt and took the picture. And I was just like, read the room, bro. Like, I get it. But it's like if Nebraska and Maryland were playing for the Big Ten football title, which will never happen. But if it ever happened, and then I said, screw it, I'm wearing a Maryland shirt, I expect some heat. As a matter of fact, that's probably why I put the shirt on, was to create some heat.
Right.
Like I had my dude from Virginia, from UVA, send me a care package with all of Virginia's new gear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sitting on my counter because a part of me wanted to put it on right away and wear it today just because, okay. But then I thought, no, don't do that. Like, there's no need. I can wear it at home. That's fine. Like, I can wear it around the streets at the Haymarket. That's cool. But not today on air. Simply because I'm a grown-up. I'm just not sure that Bryce has accepted that part of his life yet.
And I'm a child. Countdown to Craziness is tonight. And I got to show my true colors.
Right?
So...
Like you just have, like, if I came through, if Duke decided to book Nebraska. Right.
I'm wearing purple.
Right.
I'm wearing purple.
Right.
I don't own purple. I'm getting purple.
Right. Like there's things that are in play where you have to go, that's just not a hill I want to fight on. So yeah, I love him as a guy who plays the game the way he plays it, because he does things that in a million years I can't fathom, I can't coach, I can't train myself to do. Mad respect. But as a man, stop being a jerk just to be a jerk, because quite frankly, at some point it'll come back.
Always does.
Yep.
Always has.
Yep.
That's DP. He'll be in on Old School. We got Jay Foreman for a segment here. I'll make sure he's on the line. We'll talk with him. Strick was on the road. Appreciate him tapping in. Andrew Alex of 24/7 Sports as well, giving us a look at an interesting weekend, a pivotal weekend for a handful of teams out in the ACC. I'm Austin Norman. It's been fun doing this with you all week. Been a good 2 hours here during On the Block. Don't go anywhere. We got Old School. That'll lead us into high school football with Nick Sainert later tonight. Big thanks to you for tuning in, for listening, participating on our stream platforms and the Sartor Heyman text line. We'll talk to you in Old School here in just a sec. Don't go anywhere on 93.7 Ticket.
It's not often a man wakes up and says, I feel the best I have in years. We hear this all the time at Limitless Mail, and it can happen to you when you go to Limitless Mail and get a blood test to see what your body is missing. That's how simple it is. Schedule a free consult with Limitless Mail. Discuss your symptoms. Do the blood test. If your lab results say you're low in testosterone, we can fix that. Age is just a number. You can feel your best again. Just ask Limitless Mail.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Fall has arrived, and it's the perfect weather for the DIY market to listen to the game while building a deck. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber